What is up, Cowboys Nation? Your boy Mike Tag here. Hopefully, you guys are having a great weekend, winding down on a Sunday. As you guys know, if you've been following the channel, I had a little trip to Dallas. I'm going to get into that, but before I do, make sure you guys hit that like. Make sure you hit the subscribe. Make sure you hit the alert button because, you've seen it now. We're dropping videos all the time. We got our live show tomorrow night, but wanted to get into this because I didn't want to take too much time on the live show talking about it. Just wanted to give this its own segment. But we're going to tell some funny stories that Cuts and I had on Monday night. So definitely tune into the live show tomorrow night. But just wanted to give a recap of an awesome weekend. Just looking back at it. I got a call from Eugene. God, it must have been almost a year ago, about 8 months ago. And he was so excited. He said, he said, Mike, he goes, I just got inducted into Texas Black Athletes Sports Hall of Fame. He was really, really excited. I mean, just taken aback. And it's a big honor. I mean, anytime you get any Hall of Fame, whether it be in your high school, college, professional, different organizations, it's a tremendous honor. And it means a lot to a lot of these athletes. And it was a great, great ceremony. I'm going to go through a little bit of a slideshow, share some of the pictures in case you guys don't follow me on social media. If you don't, what's wrong with you? You can follow me on all pretty much platforms at mtag1993. But just a great ceremony. And I'm going to start sharing some of the pictures and I'll tell some stories and then get into some of the other stuff too. So let's change this up so you can see it all, and we'll get going. I mean, just a absolutely great ceremony. Let me start it over from the beginning. That was the induction class. They had a great evening the night before. Friday night, I flew in, got to meet a lot of legends, and it's intimidating. I mean, you're looking at some of those, and it's Larry Brown, 3-time Super Bowl champion with the Cowboys. Obviously, I know Eugene Lockhart, so comfortable there. Got to meet Larry Johnson, NBA legend. I learned he's really not that crazy about Grandmama anymore, but as a kid growing up, I mean, the UNLV Running Rebels national championship, #1 overall pick with the Charlotte Hornets, ran with Alonzo Mourning and Muggsy Bogues, and they had that team going, and unfortunately, like anything, money kind of tears apart some of the teams at free agency and opportunity. So just a great night. You saw some of the pictures and, getting there and getting the opportunity, really to start with Larry Brown. So Larry Brown, you guys are Cowboys fans, 3-time Super Bowl champion, had the great Super Bowl in Super Bowl 30. Neil O'Donnell was probably like his favorite quarterback because he threw a couple picks to him. One he took to the house. So sitting there, and he's a TCU alum, so he's talking to some people from TCU, and myself and Cuts were just kind of around the table. It was like more like cocktail hour, so high tops, drinks, hors d'oeuvres. And so he just kind of, we made eye contact, and he kind of engaged in me. Just what a nice person, genuine, very engaging, and very positive. And so we just started talking a little bit about the Cowboys. I had my "How About Them Cowboys" pin on my sport coat, and sharing a couple memories and talking about today's team. And it was interesting. These players of this Cowboys team are as frustrated and confused as the fans are. So it makes you feel a little better. If you're a fan and you're trying to understand, how the heck, we didn't sign Derrick Henry, or how some of these free agents things happen. They're just as frustrated, and got a chance also with Larry Brown, Chris Arnold, who I listened to on 105.3. He was there. He was the master of ceremonies. So we were talking to and just talking about the Cowboys and going over the whole Derrick Henry, not to beat a dead horse with Derrick Henry, but even he was saying it's like everything was set up. I mean, Derrick Henry's golf course of choice when he moved to Dallas is the Dallas Cowboys golf course. So he's there every day in the off season. You can find him, and kind of talked about Stephen Jones, comments or just mindset of these players need to come to us. We don't come to them, or their agents need to come to us. We don't come to them. It just really not a good way to do things. So I'm hoping things change. But story I was getting at was I have the Super Bowl 30 ticket stub in my pocket. And, I'd love to get it signed, obviously, by all the MVPs of each year. So I have 27, 28, and I have 30. Haven't gotten any of them signed yet, but had it in my pocket. Said, if I get the opportunity with Larry Brown, I'm gonna kind of bring it up in conversation, see what happens. And we were talking about the Cowboys, and I said, Larry, what I really want to know, and I took it out of my sport coat, is when are we going to get another one of these? And obviously he knew what it was right from the start. So got the conversation going about the 90s Cowboys, the last Super Bowl that the Cowboys were in and won. And he was so kind to sign it for me, put Super Bowl MVP. So let's one off the list that I got to do. But again, just a great evening. Great person. Said he's going to come in the cave. So we might get Larry Brown in the cave. We'll talk some Cowboys. He's still very active with the Dallas Cowboys with a lot of the radio shows and things like that. So he'll give a fresh perspective of this team, but also look back on those teams in the 90s with some of the other guys that we've had on the show, like James Washington, Kevin Gogan. We had Coach Barry Switzer on. So we had a lot of guys from that 90s team, Moose Johnston on the show. So we're going to share some of those memories and just try and figure out how we can get this team back. But one of the other cool moments was Larry Johnson and getting a chance to meet him. I didn't know he was from the Dallas area. I didn't know he grew up in Dallas. So it was kind of cool watching him interact with his friends from high school. His high school coach was there. And again, just really appreciated the opportunity and was humbled by being nominated and inducted into the Sports Hall of Fame of Texas. So another great moment for him, but got a chance to talk to him a little bit. I was a little nervous. I'm like, what do you do when you break the ice, man? I'm just thinking Grandma Mom, man, the commercials were iconic, if you're from my era. And so I said, man, LJ, love you and LV, but I love Grandma Mom, man. That's it. And he didn't really like Grandma Mom. I mean, I think he's kind of over it, which I get, but he laughed it off and we talked a little bit, talked about the Charlotte Hornets, about Zoe, about the Nick years and the battles with the Heat. So had a great chance to talk with Larry Johnson and engage with him. So it was really, really cool and was able, which I didn't like, I always got to find the right time, but I did have a picture because he was one of my favorites and got him to sign it. So that was kind of cool as well. And then of course, Eugene Lockhart, but I want to at least acknowledge some of the other people that were there that I had a chance to at least say hello with. Michelle Carter, she's got a podcast, but she was an Olympic gold medal in the shot put. Did not know that her dad was Michael Carter, one of the great defensive linemen for the San Francisco 49ers in those Super Bowl years in the 80s and into the early 90s till we took it over. But got a chance to talk to her. Harold Cash, I mean, I wish I would have recorded his induction speech. He's a rodeo rider, and he was one of the first black rodeo riders in Texas. I mean, just unbelievable story, and just very humble and just a really nice person. Gladys Lee talked about golf and getting into the country club and being an African American and the challenges of that and what she fought, but then giving back and making golf available for a lot of the other kids in the city. So she did just tremendous things. Ken Washington, I did not realize it. His brother is Joe Washington of the Washington Redskins. So I interviewed Joe Washington. So got a chance to meet him and take a picture with it, talk a little bit about the interview. He remembered it, thankfully. So hopefully it was a good one. We had some good stories. So that was just really cool. And I'll tell you, Calvin Murray, interesting story. He was drafted in the Major League Baseball first round twice. He got drafted by the Indians at a high school, but he told them not to draft him. He is the uncle of Kyler Murray. So a little connection there, but he told them not to draft him. He said education was more important. He wanted to go get his education at Texas, University of Texas, the Longhorn. and they drafted him anyway. And they thought they were going to buy him out, the ghetto, and, lived in a tough area, and thought that they would just throw money at him. He'd change his mind, and he didn't. He went for the education, played baseball, obviously, in college, and then got drafted again in the first round. And an interesting story for you guys who remember, when Randy Johnson threw that infamous pitch that absolutely just disintegrated the bird, Murray was the batter. He was the batter in spring training that was going up against Randy Johnson when that happened. So that was just a great story. Derek James, boxer and boxing trainer, he was there as well. Just don't want to leave anybody out, but I think I got them all. Talked about, obviously, Larry Brown. I'll leave Harvey Armstrong for the end. Great guy. Went to SMU, was drafted by the Philadelphia Eagles. So I really didn't like that. Had some Eagle people and Eagle fans in the house, so really wasn't digging that too much. But all kidding aside, just another great person. So all in all, it was a great experience for me. I never was given that opportunity, that invitation to participate in any type of formal ceremony like this, representing some of the greats in the league. So it was really memorable. I don't want to leave out Ladainian Tomlinson, which we'll get into some on Monday's show. He wasn't at the Friday night ceremony, so he was slipping my mind, but he was there Saturday. He was inducted as well and just gave a great speech. So it was just a great weekend. Got a chance to hang out with Cuts a little bit. We'll tell some stories tomorrow night. There's some funny stories and some scary stories, and thankfully it worked out well for him. But this was the first trip that I've been to Dallas and I never saw AT&T Stadium. And I was at Texas Live. Texas Live isn't very live when the Cowboys or the Rangers aren't there. It was kind of dead on a Friday. But the way we came in and the way we came out and things were closed off, I never saw the stadium. So this was like the first trip I never saw the stadium. So kind of crazy. So bringing it in to the next day, it was the Hall of Fame ceremony at the Renaissance Hotel near downtown Dallas. And what another great ceremony. Got to sit with a lot of family and friends of Eugene Lockhart at our table. So got to get to know them a little bit. They got to know me. They knew me and Mike Tag, doing the podcast with Eugene Lockhart a little bit. So that was a lot of fun. And listening to the speeches was just, you learn so much about the challenges a lot of these athletes have. And a lot of us fans, you kind of take it for granted, and you forget about the work and the struggles and the challenges and, the obstacles that a lot of these athletes, they go through to reach that ultimate success. And Michelle Carter was talking about it, and she does it a lot on her podcast, is everyone has their podium, has their moment on the podium. And it may not be winning a gold medal. It may be something else in life, whether it be work, family, education, things like that. But I mean, just all around great speeches. And they gave a 2-minute limit of the speeches, which I'll leave you with Eugene Lockhart's speech. And if you think his speech was 2 minutes, you got another thing coming. But at the ceremony, you could show it means a lot, because you had other past Hall of Fame and inductees there. And you're not talking about just, the average, what I would call the average guys, which are Hall of Famers in their own right, but legends. I mean, Mean Joe Green was there. Drew Pearson was there, who actually spoke on, kind of introduced Eugene Lockhart, which was a really cool moment. But, these greats that came there to support it. Russell Maryland, 3-time Super Bowl champion with the Dallas Cowboys, and of course, national champion with the U. So I got a chance, if you guys saw that, I got a chance to take a picture with him, which I thought was really cool. I met him a couple times, but it never gets old meeting Super Bowl champions and national champions of your favorite teams, especially when they were on each team. So it made a lot of fun. So got a chance to talk a little bit about the Canes. Thinking, or maybe our Canes are going to be even better next year. We laid the foundation with Cam Ward. We'll see what happens with Beck, and a lot of talent still there. So many great memories this weekend. It's so hard to put it on one, but it really goes to show, how appreciative I am of you guys, because, really you guys have given me that platform through my hype videos, and then leading into me doing some podcasting and having a channel and getting a chance to meet and interview a lot of these former great players I grew up watching, I idolized. That's why I love doing, kind of my generation. Some of the newer guys, they're not as accessible, man. They're not as easily accessible, and they're usually very guarded, and understandably. I mean, it's social media and everything's out there. You get my guys, my era of player before, man. They have no filter, so they're going to tell you how they feel because they're not worried about offending their employer or the team or doing anything like that. So you get some real stories. So I always encourage you guys, man, if you're new to the channel, of course, subscribe, but go back and look at the playlist I put together of all the interviews of players. And we're going to be doing some more, but it's just, it was humbling to me to be invited by Eugene Lockhart. And there was no way I was going to miss it, man. I got my plane ticket, got my hotel room. Cuts was going to meet me up there. He's my +1, so we were able to drive around, and it was well worth every penny I spent. It's a memory that I'll have for a lifetime. So it was really cool. It was really cool, and getting a chance to see. I mean, Ladainian Tomlinson, one of the greatest running backs of all time, obviously Hall of Famer. One of the best Hall of Fame speeches that you'll ever hear. If you've never heard it, I would encourage you to go to YouTube and really watch it, because I get chills just thinking about it. Just how impactful that speech was. Didn't do the same speech, obviously, but talked a lot about thanking growing up, his parents and obviously high school coaches and stuff, because that kind of molded him into what he is today. But he has a presence, and he has just a coolness about him when he speaks and walking around. I mean, just first class, and everyone there was first class, but Ladainian Tomlinson in particular just sticks out to me. But anyway, we're going to talk a lot about it on Monday, so I don't want to bore you with too much of the stories. Just want to give you a recap. We got some funny stories, so hopefully you guys tune in Monday. But I'm going to leave you with this. I recorded it on my little camera, so it was from a little bit of a distance, so it's a little grainy. Hopefully the audio is going to be loud enough. I'll try and turn it up too, so you guys can hear it. But Eugene Lockhart, inducted into the Hall of Fame, Texas Black Sports Hall of Fame, and you get a 2-minute speech. And any of you guys who've seen Eugene on our show, he ain't taking 2 minutes. So it was about 8 minutes, but it was classic. It starts out very humble, and then it gets to Eugene. It gets to the character that we love, Eugene, and the character that he is. So I'm going to leave you with that. Definitely watch it. It's worth it. And I do appreciate everything. Hopefully I'll see you guys on Monday night's live show. We're getting back in the swing of things. We're going to be talking a lot about free agencies coming up. Obviously, you saw Debo going to Washington. I shared some of my thoughts on Twitter. So we'll be talking more about that and some other things coming up. So here it is. I'll leave you with this. Let me get this off. You guys have a great rest of your Sunday, or if you're watching this on Monday, I appreciate it. But here's Eugene, the hit machine, getting inducted into the Texas Black Sports Hall of Fame.
I'm honored. I'm overjoyed. I thought I was going to be nervous. I've been nervous for the last 3 days. But I got this. To the Hall of Fame committee. Thank you to my brother, Jerry Broadblack, who's going on, the one who introduced me and nominated me. Thank him, and to Dr. Robinson. Thank you for not forgetting about me this time around. To my family, I know my sisters are here, my brothers, my grandsons, all of my family. Thank you so very much thank you so very much for supporting Dad. Thank you so much for not giving up on me. Thank you for most of all for not allowing me to forget who I am. Thank you, and I love you, and it's because of you. It's because of you that I can stand here with grace and tell you how much I love you. I love you beyond measure. Thank you. To the Hall of Fame committee, to everyone else, thank my friends. Have one reverend here, Reverend Killer West, his wife is here. Really good friend of mine. But to my friends, I thank you so very much for just showing up. You know, when we do so many things in public and things like that, the only thing you want is just to be appreciated. And you guys have shown me so much appreciation by driving all the way to Dallas, Texas, for the little country boy with Lagos Border, Texas. From Crockett, Texas, to be here. Thank you guys. To all the inductees and to all the teammates that may be here, but especially I want to thank the running backs. Because I know I wouldn't be here if I got to tackle you. I want to apologize for all the ice that you guys had to take. You know, I have quite a few concussions, but I think I gave away more than I have. When I first came to the Dallas Cowboys, I felt let me thank the Cowboys and the New England Patriots for my career. I first came to the Cowboys. I came as the first black middle linebacker to play the game, to play that position, because it was so complex. The flex defense with Tom Landry. And I was drafted in the 6th round. You know, usually at that number, you're not going to make the team, or if you do, somebody probably got hurt or whatever it may be. When I got drafted, Coach Landry called me, and he said, would you like to be a Cowboy? And my dad, he loved him some Cowboys. Now, my dad's my best friend. He's no longer here with us. But I love my dad so very much. I wish he could be here, but he's not. But I thought I got my strength. I thought I got everything from my dad. But my mother is perhaps one of my biggest inspirers. She's been sick for a little while now, that's why she's not here, but everything about me that's good that you know about me came from him. And I love my family, I love you guys, thank you guys for having me to be here. But let me tell you something. This is truly a dream. When I got drafted by Cowboys, I just didn't want to just play. I just didn't want to play in the NFL for the Cowboys. I wanted to be all pro. I wanted to set records. 222 tackles in one season. 16 tackles a game. A whole bunch of Tylenol and aspirin. I tell you. And I asked Coach Larry, I said, Coach, why did it take you so long to draft me? I'm at the draft room in here, no matter the way. I said, what took so long? He said, son, let me tell you something. He said, it doesn't matter what round you got drafted in. The only thing that matters is what you do when you're on the field. All of us are on a playing field, one way or another. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how you got to where you are. I just want to keep encouraging you that if you can look up, you can get up. Whatever you may be going through, I'll tell you, this is a dream come true for me. And when I think about dreams, I think about the late Martin Luther King. Martin Luther King said, I have a dream. And he went on to preach that eloquent speech, But he said, my dream is to get to the mountaintop. Hall of Fame. My dream is that he said, I'm going to the mountaintop. But he said that I may not get there with you, but I'm going to the mountaintop. I wondered, why he said he may not get there with us? Because along the way to your journey, along the way to your mountaintop, you got to drop off some stuff. You got to drop off some haters. You got to drop off them naysayers. You got to surround yourself with somebody that will fight for you. You got to drop it off. And I tell you, when you drop it off and you become a person that has earned to be here in the Texas Sports Hall of Fame, I want to just remind you, there's nothing that you can't do. And I want to encourage everyone in here. I want to encourage everyone in here to dream on like Martin Luther King did. Dream on, but I want you to dream big. And don't let small minds convince you that you can't achieve your dream. That if you can look up, you can get up. But let me tell you, early in the morning, when everybody else is asleep, you gotta get up and rise and grind. Yeah. Lunchtime when everybody else is going lunch, you gotta rise and grind. Late in the midnight hour, when there's nobody else around, you gotta rise and grind.
You gotta be hungry. Get him, Eugene!
I saw some of that. The Holy Ghost. Imagine if that man hit you. Just imagine. By the way, for those who don't know, if you're not familiar with this fine work on the football field, just think, he was Micah Parsons before Micah Parsons. He hurt people out there. Give me somebody that's hungry. Give me somebody that's hungry. I need somebody.